everyone, and welcome to Cat's Corner. My name is Kayla, and today we are going to be going over how to change a typical children's craft activity into a therapeutic activity. That activity being making coffee filter butterflies. These are a couple that I made earlier, and I'll walk you through the process and also how we change this kind of traditional, easy art project into something that has a little bit more meaning. So butterflies are an excellent symbol in therapy. You can hear them in stories. They're a symbol of transformation, of becoming something new, of growing, of changing. And sometimes, especially in these difficult times, kids need a reminder that they are growing and that they are changing and that things might not always stay the same. They're also a great opportunity to show how you can morph one thing into another. For example, feelings of depression or sadness or anger, you can morph that into something beautiful. All it takes is a little work and a little time and understanding. So that's the imagery and the kind of idea that I use around these butterflies, which is how we can change them into a therapeutic activity. So in order to do this activity, you are going to need at least 2 coffee filters. The kids that I work with love doing these, so have more than just 2 on hand. You're going to need 2 coffee filters. You are going to need a set of markers, washable kind is very important. You are going to need some kind of tray because we're going to get the coffee filters wet. So this is just like a regular cake tin that I have that I like to put the coffee filters down in, and that way it contains all the water. And then you're going to need a cup with some water, and some form of a dropper. I don't have any droppers at home, so I just use a teaspoon, and it works very well. So one of the things that can make an activity therapeutic, as opposed to, doing a simple arts and crafts activity or a boredom buster, is the meaning that you put behind it. So for this activity, typically, I would have kids just grab whatever colors they want and sit down and color all over the coffee filter so that the colors bleed in. But in order to make this therapeutic and focus on that idea of changing, negativity into positivity, or changing emotions that are hard to deal with and difficult to understand, and coming out on the other side understanding them or seeing them as something beautiful as part of your journey, I have kids choose colors that are going to represent some of those difficult emotions. So typical ones might be blue for sadness, red for anger. I threw some other darker colors in here too, so maybe green, like envious or jealous, or purple. So what you're going to have them do is they are going to think of either images or words, if your kids are good at writing, that represent those feelings. So they might write mad, sad, angry, why, no, I can't do that, like phrases, anything that kind of resonates with where their headspace is at that moment. And they are going to cover the entire coffee filter. The less white space, the better, because the colors will bleed when you add the water. If there's a lot of white space, the colors won't bleed as much, and then the words will stay when we want them to change into something else. So I'm going to go ahead and write down some of my own feelings using these colors as part of an example, and I'll let you watch my process. All right, so I just threw down a bunch of kind of random words under the theme of anger, and the important thing is that you don't need to be able to read them or to fully understand them. Part of the therapeutic process is just getting those thoughts and those ideas out and down onto the paper. Because of the nature of kind of, needing to talk about themes and metaphors, you could have smaller kids do this, but it's more easily fitted for school-age children, so I would say maybe 6 to 9 or 10 would be a really great range for doing this kind of activity, just so that they have the adequate means to express themselves, right? Whether or not they want to draw or write or whatever. So this is my finished product. As you can see, it's very chaotic. It has lots of different colors, but the colors are going to bleed together. And something important that I also associate with coffee filters is if you watched one of our previous videos about mandalas, right? Coffee filters are a circle. Circles just naturally are containers, right? So when you write all of these thoughts and feelings down onto the coffee filter, you are giving them a safe space to be expressed. The circle holds them all in. And so you can kind of see that your expression is more open within this circle. So for our next step, after we have finished writing and drawing all over our coffee filter, we are going to put it in our tray. Put it in our tray. And then we are going to take our cup with our water, and we are going to very slowly drip the water over the coffee filter. Now, I have learned doing this a couple times that a little bit of water goes a long way, but it's a really cool process to kind of watch it all come together. All right, so I have covered my coffee filter. Now the next thing that you have to do is you have to let it set for a while to dry to get to our next step. I found that it works really well if you can just take this whole thing and put it outside in the sun. It'll dry in easily a half hour if it has that warmth in the sun. And you know, normally kids don't like to stop in the middle of an activity and have to wait, and that's totally understandable. But during that time, you can use that to process a little bit and then go check. So while your wet project is sitting outside, you could talk about, you know, how did it feel to write all of those things down? What did you see? What did those colors mean to you? Do you feel any better now? How do you feel different? You could check in with the body. So, you know, how did your body feel before and after? Did you notice your heartbeat or your muscles or anything like that as well? And then you can talk about, if you want to process a little bit more, you could talk about how a lot of times negative or difficult things to deal with don't instantly change into positive, right? They take time, they take work, they take effort, and you really have to adjust your mindset when you are learning how those things are going to morph or how you're going to see the positives from the negatives. So you can use this time as a little bit to reflect, maybe if you do meditation within your family, or you might just kind of set up a calm time where they can kind of rest and reflect a little bit while they wait for their words to be transformed into something new. So once your coffee filters have dried, I did a separate one earlier so we could go through this step. They'll probably look something like this depending on what color you do. The colors bleed through, so you'll have two. And now, once they're dry, we can start making them into a butterfly. So for the butterfly, you're going to need googly eyes and either pipe cleaners or clothespins. I have clothespins on hand, so I use those. But those are for the middle body to hold everything together. So the first thing that you're going to do when you're making your butterfly is you're going to take one of your dry coffee filters and you're going to fold it into a zigzag pattern, much like a fan. You're going to do that for both coffee filters, and then we're going to end up stacking them on top of each other. So I'm going to go ahead and fold mine. So there's one, and I'll do the other later. They kind of look like this. The good thing is that they don't have to be exact. That's part of the fun of the art activity. So I'm going to go ahead and fold my second coffee filter here quick, and then I will show you how to put everything together. So once you have folded both of your coffee filters into zigzags, like so, you are going to take them and stack them on top of each other, so they look about equal. And then I like to simply fold them in half. They don't have to be exactly equal, but fold them in half, make a little crease at the bottom. And then, if you kind of look, this will be our top weighing bottom on both sides. You can't put the clothespin this way, because then it won't look like a butterfly. So what I do is I pinch this middle section, and I just simply fold it in half a little bit, just in that little middle section. And then I take my clothespin, and you kind of clip it. I like to push it farther down in the clothespin, because then it'll hold a little bit better. Make it so that the wings look a bit equal. And then all you need to do is fluff everything out. So you're going to take each of these different sections of the wings and you're going to separate the coffee filter so that it makes a bit of a circle, and you'll do that for all 4 parts. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we'll see what happens. All right, I have fluffed out my wings, and this is what our final butterfly ended up looking like. I went ahead and attached some googly eyes on it. I have the kinds that are stickers on the back, so they just stick right on, but you can also do it with a little dab of glue. But this is what our finished butterfly product is going to look like. So we went from a coffee filter full of difficult or hard things, and we added some water, we blended it all together, we gave it some time, we thought about it, and then we ended up having a really cool final product of a beautiful butterfly that you can use as a toy or a puppet or any other cool activities like that. One of the important things of drama therapy is that you take an activity such as this and you transform it into something that's active and involved. So if you want to take this activity a step further, after you finish with your butterfly, then come up with some improvisations or some enactments, pretend play. Most kids are really great at it, involving a butterfly. What's the butterfly's name? What does it do? What are its strengths? What are some of the things that it's challenged with? And then watch them begin to act it out. You could also act out the process of a butterfly, right? Being a caterpillar, and then going into your little cocoon and coming out a butterfly. Those are great things to talk about change and transformation. So you could be the little negative caterpillar who is grumpy and eats everybody's food, and then something happens and it goes into its cocoon, and while it's in its cocoon, it has some time to think or a little bit of time to change, and then when it emerges, it's a beautiful butterfly that learned how to use some of its old skills to do new things that are nicer or make them happier or anything like that. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I love doing this craft. Kids have a really great time with it. And one of my favorite things to do is to find typical activities that you might do in a school setting or just at home, and change them so that they can have some therapeutic value for you and your family. So if you did this activity, let me know how it went. I'd love to see some pictures of butterflies. That would just brighten up our website, and I think it'd be really awesome. So I hope you enjoyed this video on Cat's Corner. Please make sure that you're following us. If you liked this video, we have a new Facebook page. We also have a Pinterest page and our own YouTube channel, along with our website, which is creativeartstherapycorner.com. So I will talk to you all later, and I hope you have a wonderful day.